Let me ask you something. And don't answer out loud. Just be honest with yourself. Have you ever been close to a woman? Really close. And then suddenly, she pulled away. She stopped replying the same way. She became distant, cold, confused. Almost like she flipped a switch overnight. And everyone told you the same thing. She's not interested. She's rejecting you. She found someone else. But what if I told you that wasn't rejection at all? What if I told you she was actually breaking inside because she loved too deeply, too intensely, and didn't know how to survive it? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at female withdrawal the same way again. Before we dive deeper, a quick message. If you've been learning from my videos and you want to support this work, you can subscribe to me on Facebook with a paid membership, send stars, or join my YouTube channel's paid community. Your support helps me create more powerful content for you, and I truly appreciate every bit of it. All right, now let's continue. Here's the truth most men never hear. When a woman truly starts falling for a man, her first instinct isn't always to run toward him. Sometimes, it's to run away from herself. And the more you don't understand this, the more you accidentally push her further into emotional collapse. Let me explain. Women don't experience love like men do. For many men, love is linear. You feel attraction, then attachment, then commitment. But for women, love is immersive. It doesn't sit neatly in one part of her life. It spreads, it leaks. It takes over her thoughts, her nervous system, her sleep, her sense of identity. And when she loves too hard, it doesn't feel romantic. It feels terrifying. Because deep down, she knows something you don't. She knows that the moment she fully surrenders, she risks losing herself. And that fear is exactly where the pulling away begins. Now here's where men usually get it wrong. You see her distance, and you respond with pressure. More texts, more questions, more reassurance requests, more "what happened" conversations. And every single one of those actions feels logical to you. But to her nervous system, it feels like drowning. Because when a woman loves intensely, she doesn't just fear losing you, she fears losing control. She fears becoming emotionally dependent. She fears abandonment before it even happens. She fears repeating old wounds she swore she healed. So what does she do? She retreats, not because she doesn't care, but because caring too much is burning her alive. And here's the part no one warns you about. A woman can love you deeply and still walk away. Not as punishment, not as manipulation, but as survival. Let's go deeper. When a woman starts emotionally attaching to you, her brain releases oxytocin at much higher levels than a man's. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone, the attachment hormone, the "this person feels like home" chemical. And when it floods her system too fast, she doesn't feel safe. She feels exposed. Suddenly, your silence feels louder. Your tone feels heavier. Your absence feels unbearable. So instead of asking for reassurance like a man might, she shuts down. She becomes colder, more logical, less available. Not because her feelings disappeared, but because she's trying to numb them. And if you mistake this numbness for indifference, you lose her forever. Here's something even darker. Many women were taught, consciously or not, that loving too much makes them weak, that attachment makes them replaceable, that devotion leads to betrayal. So when she feels herself slipping into love, she panics. She starts asking herself questions she never voices. What if he leaves? What if I lose myself again? What if I'm not enough once he sees the real me? And instead of waiting for you to answer those fears, she creates distance. Distance gives her the illusion of control, but control comes at a brutal cost, because the very thing she runs from is the thing she wants most: connection. This is why her behavior feels contradictory. One moment she's warm, open, emotionally present. The next moment she's unreachable, and you're left confused, wondering what you did wrong. Here's the painful truth. You didn't break her attraction. You activated her vulnerability, and vulnerability terrifies women who have been hurt before. And the more emotionally intelligent you are, the more likely you are to trigger this reaction. Because emotionally safe men don't excite fear. They awaken attachment, and attachment awakens trauma. Now let's talk about something most men never consider. Some women don't fear being loved. They fear what they become when they love. They lose focus. They lose boundaries. They overgive. They overthink. They emotionally merge. And somewhere in her past, that cost her everything. So when she feels herself leaning toward you again, she pulls back harder. Not because she doesn't want you, but because she doesn't trust herself around you. And this is where men usually sabotage everything. They chase. They demand clarity. They push for labels. They seek emotional closure. But clarity feels like pressure. Labels feel like traps. And closure feels like finality. What she actually needs is emotional safety without emotional demand, presence without pursuit, consistency without pressure. And yes, that's incredibly hard because everything in you wants to fix it. But the more you try to fix her emotional state, the more she feels broken. And broken women don't open. They disappear. So what do you do when she pulls away like this? First, you stop personalizing it. Her withdrawal is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of her internal conflict. Second, you hold your ground. You don't chase. You don't withdraw emotionally either. You remain calm, stable, unreactive. That stability tells her nervous system something words never could. That loving me won't cost you yourself. And slowly, her walls loosen. Or they don't. And here's the hardest truth of all. Not every woman who loves too deeply is ready to be loved safely. Some are still fighting themselves, and no amount of patience can heal a war happening inside her mind. And this is where mature men make a different choice. They don't beg, they don't resent, they don't chase ghosts. They recognize the difference between rejection and emotional self-destruction, and they respect both. Because love that requires you to lose yourself isn't love, it's sacrifice. And women who break from loving too hard often need to heal alone. Now let me tell you something that might sting a little. There's a particular kind of man who attracts women who love too intensely. And it's not always who you think. It's not the player. It's not the emotionally unavailable guy. It's the steady one, the kind one, the emotionally present man. Because women who have been hurt don't run from danger anymore. They run from safety. Safety feels unfamiliar. Safety feels too good to be true. Safety reminds them of what they never had, or what they had and lost. So when you show up as that safe man, she doesn't relax. She tenses. Her mind starts scanning for the catch. When will he hurt me? When will he leave? What's he hiding? And when she can't find the flaw, she creates distance to protect herself from the inevitable pain she believes is coming. And this is the cruelest irony of all. The better you treat her, the harder she pulls away. Because in her world, good things don't last. And love that feels this real always ends in devastation. So she ends it first. Not consciously, not maliciously, but protectively. She ghosts before she's abandoned. She detaches before she's discarded. She leaves before she's left. And you're standing there, completely blindsided, thinking you did something wrong. But you didn't. You did everything right. And that was the problem. Because some women aren't afraid of being treated badly. They're afraid of being treated well and losing it. Now here's where this gets even more complex. When she pulls away, she's not just protecting her heart. She's protecting her identity. Think about it. For many women, especially those who've been through relational trauma, their independence became their survival mechanism. I don't need anyone. I'm fine on my own. I won't let myself be that vulnerable again. These aren't just phrases, they're armor. And when you come along with your emotional maturity, your consistency, your genuine care, you're asking her to put down that armor, to trust again, to hope again, to believe that this time might be different. And that's a gamble she's not sure she can afford to lose. So instead of risking it, she sabotages it. She picks fights over nothing. She withdraws after intimacy. She becomes critical, distant, or cold. Not because she wants to lose you, but because losing you on her terms feels safer than being destroyed by you later. It's a preemptive strike against heartbreak. And the tragedy is, she knows what she's doing. Deep down, she knows she's creating the very abandonment she fears. But the fear is so loud, the trauma is so deep, that logic can't overpower it. Her nervous system is running the show, and her nervous system says, retreat, before it's too late. And this is where most men make their final mistake. They take it personally. They get angry. They get bitter. They blame her for being crazy or emotionally unstable. But here's what they don't understand. She's not unstable. She's traumatized. And there's a massive difference. Instability is chaos without cause. Trauma is protection disguised as chaos. And if you can't see that difference, you'll never reach her. So what's the answer? How do you love a woman who's terrified of being loved? First, you accept this truth. You can't save her. You can't heal her. You can't convince her that you're different. Only she can do that work. Your role isn't to be her therapist. Your role is to be consistent, to show up, to remain steady, to not abandon her when she's testing whether you will. Because that's what the pulling away is. A test. Not a conscious one, but a test nonetheless. Will you chase me? Will you punish me for needing space? Will you prove that you're just like the rest? And if you chase, you fail. If you withdraw in retaliation, you fail. The only way through is radical patience. Patience that says, I see you're struggling. I'm not going anywhere. Patience that doesn't demand emotional reciprocity. Patience that gives her room to feel, without making her wrong for feeling it. But let me be clear about something. Patience doesn't mean martyrdom. You don't set yourself on fire to keep her warm. You don't tolerate disrespect. You don't accept breadcrumbs. You don't become a doormat in the name of understanding. Boundaries and compassion can coexist. You can say, I understand you're going through something, and I'm here. But I also need consistency. I need communication. And I need to know that you're willing to work through this, not just run from it. And then, you wait for her answer. Not in words, in actions. Because a woman who's ready to heal will meet you halfway. A woman who's still at war with herself won't. And that's not your failure. That's her journey. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let her go. Not with anger, not with resentment, but with understanding. Understanding that some people need to break before they can rebuild. And that her breaking isn't yours to fix. Now let me leave you with something powerful. If a woman pulls away after intimacy, after emotional closeness, after vulnerability, don't ask, why am I not enough? Ask instead, what part of her is afraid to feel this much? Because sometimes she's not rejecting you. She's protecting herself from a love she doesn't yet know how to hold. And if this video made you see women differently, if it gave you clarity instead of confusion, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the other videos here, because we don't sell comfort. We share wisdom, truth, and the psychology most people are too afraid to talk about.